Hello, swivel heads. Greg Ellison here with Green Greg's coming to you live late. Guys, lots been going on since our last come on here. The M1 tank has arrived in Ukraine before we even expected it. So a lot of stuff, guys. Not only that, but the ATACMS missile with the submunitions is also on its way to Ukraine, the long-range missile that will have big impacts on the war. Something that may be a game changer or something that may up the ante and slip us closer toward nuclear war. But in the words of nuclear war, much is going on because, of course, Kim Jong-un, excuse me, over get all these Kims confused, over in North Korea has made some new threats of nuclear war. He said there would be nuclear war on the Korean Peninsula. And furthermore, we have the case that Saudi Arabia, I warned you that Saudi Arabia had said that they would get nukes if Iran did. And it looks like Iran is so close. Saudi Arabia has decided that they're going to limit inspections by the IAEA of their nuclear facilities. And why would they do that? Well, I tell you why. Because Saudi Arabia intends to get the bomb. And Saudi Arabia has a lot of sophistication. They might wind up with a bomb really soon. Who knows, guys? They probably already had something in the book, something in the works, but they said they would get a bomb really soon. So how are they going to get one really soon? That means they've either already got enriched materials or they've got somewhere the means to make, or maybe they've already been enriching nuclear materials themselves. I don't know. But this is concerning because the more it's, the more players they are with nukes, the more likely somebody is going to pull a trigger. It's kind of like playing global Russian roulette. It's like a revolver with many chambers on it, and every nation that gets one just adds one more round to the set of chambers. And so it gets to be a lot more problematic as we go toward the future for nuclear war. And anytime a nation uses one against another, it poses the risk of escalation, especially when it's nations that we're directly involved in. But even if it's a conflict between two nations, it is still possible that not only would you have great disruption of global economy, global trade, which would be devastating to the world as we know it, it's also possible that we might have a nuclear winter. Now, on the regards of nuclear winter, there's been a lot discussed, pro and con, on small-scale nuclear exchanges causing one, because we did set off a lot of devices testing them Pacific atolls. And a lot of people says, well, if we'd had a nuclear winter from the small exchange, that should have triggered it. And so a lot of global thinkers and strategists that plan nuclear wars, and we're not worried about it for that reason. But on the other hand, the most of the claims that says we will get a nuclear winter is a result of burning large cities. And our test, neither the test that Russia was doing or the United States was doing was burning large cities. Russia was testing on their big Arctic island, and we were testing on Pacific islands along with the British and the French. And we weren't burning large cities and putting a lot of soot in the atmosphere. So, yeah, I don't know, guys. This is just one potential risk that might be a little different than the test regime that we were into. This is an unknown. Analysts claim that there would be a nuclear winter, and a lot of people say, nah. Well, I hope we don't find out, but we might, as the chances of proliferation and these nuclear weapons become greater as they become more existent, as they spread around. And that's apparently happened. The proliferation of nuclear weapons is something that's going on. It's like a genie that's got out of the bottle. We've tried to keep that genie in, but it is starting to spread, and the spread may go faster. The reason, South Korea has claimed they wanted nuclear weapons because North Korea had them, and this is the reason we put our nuclear submarine there at South Korea. A lot of people say, oh, we shouldn't put our nuclear submarine there. Well, the reason we did it was to try to encourage South Korea to rely on us and our nukes instead of developing their own, so there'd be one less player with a hand or finger on a trigger. Is that going to work? I don't know, my friends. But it does pull us into that conflict even more so. And of course, we are allied with South Korea. So if North Korea were to invade with all our troops in South Korea, you can bet we're going to be in that. And that theater could go nuclear, which could trigger China marching on Taiwan and all other sorts of mayhem around the world. If we get involved in one theater, anybody else that wants to pull a trick that they might not ordinarily want to do would be tempted to perhaps do so. This is how things could escalate. So that's the things I talk about a lot of times. I discuss these things, but there's already a lot of potential for escalating in the current war theater with Russia and Ukraine going at it, because Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia, has already stated that the United States is funding the war over there. The United States is sending the munitions, and the United States is providing intel. So he basically said, this is a war with the United States. So how long, what's it going to take for Russia to act against some of our supply lines or other things over there, or in some way toward NATO in some limited fashion in a manner that could possibly escalate? Is this possible? I don't know. You tell me. Some of you are going to be on either side of that. I'm not weighing in either way. What I'm saying is the potential for mayhem is growing. Things are getting on a slippery slope that could lead us into ugly consequences. And I'm going to go into some articles to back all this stuff up here in a minute. I'm going to open up the chat room and see where we're at on that. And by the way, toward the end of the video, I'm going to open this big box from our buddy Brian Perendi, who this is why he sends me super chats. I'll open that tonight, I think. So hopefully he'll watch this later and be able to go and see that as we get into it. Let's see how many people we got in the chat room. Let's try to sell me TV here. Oh, we got 68 in the room. Sorry for starting so late. I see Jesse in New Days, Zen Jammin, ex-New York Prepper in the room, Bobby Birch. Oh, Granny Lana. Wow, we got a lot of folks in here. Good. Arnold. Very good. JoJo, Mag Rising, Scott Kitchell. Good morning, Linda Gordon. Well, I haven't gone to bed yet for myself. So, all right, Rose, you said Rose Valencia. I hope I said that right. Sometimes I have to look close to read these names. But anyway, guys, so let's get to it here and cover some of these articles. Before we go into the war, one of the, where'd my screen go? Oh, there it is. Like everything disappeared from me. I thought I was getting knocked offline. You never know, guys. You never know. But guys, one of the biggest problems with the war has been the shortages of grain in the world. Food shortages has been one of the outcomes of the war. But I'm going to show you a potential solution to that before we go into the war stuff. So, we don't have to share everything bad. There is potential good news that we can share. Like I tell people, every mushroom cloud, there's a silver lining around every mushroom cloud. The good news is, hey, there's a way to fix some of this global grain production. Earthworms. This is in physics.org. This is a high-end science magazine. Earthworms contribute 6.5% toward global grain production. Now, this article will tell you that most of this is in the global south. Why there? Well, because they don't till and fertilize and poison the land so much. We poison the farmland in America with fertilizers, with herbicides and pesticides, and then we till the heck out of it. So our farms have no earthworms in them, not the big monoculture agriculture farms. The small farms, organic farms and such do, and often they see really good yields. And this is what this is talking about. Of course, I've talked about the earthworms, the advantages of earthworms a zillion times on this channel, especially in my earlier videos. But, it creates a soil biodiversity where the plants and the microbes all help the plants grow. So there's a lot of things here. The earthworm is nature's little tiller. But, guys, the good news, if you're looking for worms, I'm selling them again. You just come here and click on these buttons at greengregs.com. and get you some worms. I got to go in and change this note. Forget these notes up here. I haven't updated everything. I'm thinking, I'm not selling them yet. Yeah, I am. Come here, click these buttons. They work. I've already had a couple of orders from them. So just go in and check that out if you're interested in worms. Yeah, that's the first page. That's the first page you'll see is this page. But click here on the buy worms or donate button. You can donate here too. There's a donate button. All righty, let's go to the war. Bing, 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 bing. Straight to the war. Ukraine launches new missile attack near Putin's military airfield in Crimea's Sevastopol. And you see, that's what's been happening. Ukraine's been attacking that. Well, the airfields are of special concern to the Russians because in some areas we've already taken out a couple of the Russian doomsday planes. And the Russian doomsday planes are part of their nuclear triad. It's part of their nuclear launch and warning control system. And if you go to the Kremlin's website and look up things, reasons, justifications for them to use nuclear weapons, attacking their nuclear command and control systems, their nuclear infrastructure is a reason for them to use nuclear weapons, according to their own website. And I have read directly from that in one of my previous videos many moons ago, within the last year, like probably the last 6 months. I went through and read out all that stuff, and I'm not going to do it again. You can go back and search that. Maybe I will one day if I get enough popular acclaim to do that. But I'd hate covering the same ground twice unless it just is really necessary. But it's there. It's on the Kremlin's website. So those kind of things put us in the slippery slope. Also, Crimea is considered an existential important place for the Russian military because it's one of their main warm water naval bases. It gives them access to the Black Sea, into the Mediterranean Sea, and out into the Atlantic. And so attacking that system is bad for them. But the airfields here is what they're hitting right now. So I've often said from way back that I would expect that Russia would go to nuclear war over Crimea. Now, I may be wrong on that, but I'm thinking that that's a very high probability. U.S.-made ATACMS cluster missiles could give Ukraine's HIMARS the power to punish Russia's artillery and cut off its army, says former Army artillery officer. Now, that's an ATACMS missile being fired. I've shown videos here on before of what this thing can do to a battlefield. You can go back and see that on some of my older videos too. And I've also stood underneath one of these launchers and did several of my videos some months back standing under one of these launchers, one of these very same launchers, one of these sticking out from it. So guys, this is a very powerful missile. You can read something like maybe 190 miles. What the Ukrainians could use this for is to attack the rear areas behind the Russian troops where they're getting their ammo from, their ammo dumps, their artillery shells, which are usually coming on rail. The Russians are very rail reliant, which makes them centralized in the rear areas, which makes that a special target. It makes them quite vulnerable. Also, they may go after the Kerch Strait Bridge to try to finally cut off Crimea and isolate it. So guys, so they couldn't get resupply. That don't mean Crimea would be easy to take. I still think that Crimea would be a very difficult proposition for Ukraine. I think they could have such great losses that if they won the battle and took Crimea, it might cost them the war, because Ukraine can't replace people like Russia can, because Ukraine's got a lot smaller population to pull from. So I'm really skeptical that Ukraine could actually take. At this point, I'm rooting for Russia to stop sending money. Yeah, we're going to talk about that, and the next time we're coming is this crazy money we're sending over. So I'm not rooting for Ukraine here, guys. I'm not rooting for anybody. I'm just giving y'all the warning. But what I don't like is this money deal. We're going to go into that in a minute here. Russia sent Russia's Black Sea Fleet taking a lot of hits. Ukraine claimed they killed 37 of Russia's top military and naval commanders, including the commander of the fleet. Well, that guy actually showed up in a video later, so that's highly questionable. Now, some people say, well, that wasn't him, but that's kind of a hard point to make right now. So the tanks are there. They got there sooner than expected. All these things are things that could push the war further. And this is more about the ATACMS missile. I won't go into that. What we're going to go into now is this money situation. The U.S. government apparently is shutting down. There was an attempt by the Senate to come up. There was a bipartisan agreement in the Senate to try to get the government funded, but the House Republican says, no way. You're spending too much money. We're not going to go along with it. So it looks like the government's going to shut down. But somehow, in the midst of this shutdown, it just happens that the Biden administration has worked out a way to keep funneling money to Ukraine. While we're not paying our soldiers, our very own military, we're actually paying salaries. We're not just sending military aid. We're not just sending weapon systems. We're paying salaries for Ukrainians, up to the salaries of up to 57,000 first responders. Get that, guys. Here it is. We're paying, let me look down here, paying salaries for some 57,000 Ukrainian civil service personnel. That's their government personnel from your tax dollars. While we can't have money for ourselves, while we're not able to feed our kids, and while Biden is running around using this as a campaign point to try to woo back the black voters that he has disenfranchised and lost. Say, oh, look, you're not going to get money because the shutdown. Well, you know what? He don't really care about them. And he's just using it as a political ploy, because what's he doing? He's funding Ukraine. Ukraine over America. Ukraine first. Yeah, this came out on 60 Minutes first. See, guys, $43 billion in aid here. And not only that, but we're buying seeds for Ukrainian farmers. Yeah, and fertilizer. What's happening with our farmers? Our farmers are going broke and losing farms, but we're paying for seeds and fertilizer for Ukrainian farmers. And to make matters worse, how many times have I recently said that with all these economic issues, that it's wiping out our small businesses? Our government don't care about the small businesses. They're funding the large businesses in this country. But in Ukraine, they're funding the small businesses. There's a sweater shop they're funding. There's like coffee shops, all kind of small businesses in Ukraine are being funded. And what happened to my screen over here? My browser crashed. Oh, my computer is shutting down. What the heck? My little computer I'm monitoring you guys on decided it wanted to shut down. What? Just ran a problem. Needs to restart. Well, thank you for wiping out my chat room. Jeez. I'm trying to monitor the chat room here. That computer just decided to reboot. Isn't that lovely? Anyway, maybe it's got a Chinese or Ukrainian agent in here. Didn't run out of power. Juice. It's still got juice. Oh, well. Well, I don't want to. I'll just have to wait a little bit before I get back to the chat. It's going to take it a little bit to reboot, and I don't have time to stop everything in my video just to do that. Sorry, guys. I'll come back to the chat a little bit. I got to cover the news first. Seeds and salaries. Guys, I can go look at the chat room here, but I got to switch screens to do it. Give me a second, guys. It's a little bit difficult. What I like to see you do is do this. If you're in favor of us funding Ukraine while we don't fund American soldiers, if you think we should fund Ukraine first, if you're in agreement with the Biden administration, put a 1 in the chat room. Type in a 1. If you are green, eggs, and ham, that's right, Dale. If you're not in favor of Biden saying, put a 2 in. Let's see where you guys stand on this stuff. Put a 2 in if you're not in favor of the United States funding Ukrainian civil servants and Ukrainian farmers and Ukrainian small businesses while our government shuts down and we don't pay our soldiers and we don't pay our people. Ace Lee's in favor of, okay. Bobby Birch is not in favor, okay. Camo underwear, you're in favor of money going to Ukraine? Not now, okay. Johnny B, all right, we got some are saying 1. I'm surprised. We have a bunch of 2s. Yeah, one is you're in favor of Biden's proposal, and 2, you're not. I think the 2s are out drowning the 1s. Everyone with a 1, I will help you move. Uh-oh. I think some people must accidentally type 1. I may be wrong. Maybe that's what you meant. So I want to come back to the chat room. I want to run this little poll here and see what you guys thought. Ace Lee, come back in. There is a 3. Oh, what is 3, Ace Lee? World peace to have no one winner. Okay, you're right about that. The question was, should the United States be funding Ukraine while we have nothing to Ukraine? We're done. Yeah, while we're actually in shutdown. Now, some people, oh, yeah, 3 may be none at all. All right. Vote 3 if you're in favor of cutting all funding to Ukraine. Let's see where you're at on that. All right, Judge, we don't even know all the money went, Greg. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So, all right. So let's go back and to the articles here. All right. So I think I'm still on showing the article. All right. Seeds, salaries, and sweaters. Rand Paul has come out against this. He says it's unconstitutional, the U.S. subsidizing Ukraine economy. When the heck have we ever really just subsidizing the economy. Oh yeah, this sap here would be all for it. I guess it looks like Penn, don't it? Isn't it Sean Penn? Who is that? Anyway, so let me just scroll this thing down where I can get access to my tabs. Breitbart News, what do we got here? Uproar over 60 Minutes report. U.S. is paying salaries, yeah, and businesses. So here's what some of the guys had to say about it in the United States after 60-minute report. Democratic candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said, let's support farmers, small businesses, and first responders in our own country instead. All right. So you don't. Now, this is an interesting quote here from Aaron McIntyre. You don't live in a country, you live in a tax farm for a global empire. That's what this guy said. Check that out. Whoops, I didn't mean to actually open that link. Let's close that. Trying to send me to X. All right. Yeah, and more on that. No one is going to be happy not knowing if and when they're going to get paid again. It would be unbelievably disruptive for our ability of our servicemen and women to do their jobs to protect our country. Said, well, different things here. Well, shutdowns happen. You know, so this isn't the first time our government's had a shutdown. It's happened before. But this whole idea that we keep funding over there and not funding here, how does that work? How does that happen? How can that even be done? Well, you tell me. All right, so some things we forget, you know, and this global consternation we're in, a lot has happened, and we forget things that are way back in the news, like the Nord Stream pipeline being attacked. But RT, the Russians hadn't forgot it. And they're quoting Seymour Hersh, CIA-run Nord Stream attack was aimed at Germany, but whose resources got wiped out? Russian. This was an attack on Russian infrastructure. Yeah, so Russia has still got that in mind. So it's just one more straw on the camel's back. How many can they handle? Ukraine breaks Russia's main defensive line with armor. So now, you know, they went through the defensive line with infantry. Well, now their armor has got through it. So there's questions of, will they blitzkrieg behind the enemy lines? If so, when? I tell you, you know, just totally impartially, if Ukraine's going to have a chance at winning this war, they got to make a lot happen soon, because time is not on their side, because they don't have the man, material, and resources. Even with all the stuff we're throwing at them, we can't breed new Ukrainians. We might send money over, but we're not breeding new Ukrainians. But there is discussion that we may put our boots on the ground over there. I hope that don't happen, but that's what some of the discussion lately has been suggesting. And then again, if the Russians were really that concerned about the breakthrough, they might be calling for a ceasefire. But Lavrov, the foreign minister of Russia, who I quoted a minute ago, Sergei Lavrov, he is actually says he's open to negotiations, but not ceasefire. So the Russians aren't that concerned yet, because they think they can still win. And I think that time is on their side. I've said that many times. Ukraine-Russian war live. Putin sends in new troops to overstretch front line as Kyiv digs in Verbov. Verbov is the area they took. The Russians have been shelling some of the cities that Ukraine took from Russia recently, like Robodyne or Robotine, whatever we call that city. Putin orders a Russian defense minister to halt the Ukrainian counteroffensive before early October. What do you mean before early? Is it early or before early? Before early would be September, where September is almost over. So that's how. So apparently there's a few weeks to make this happen. What are they going to do? I don't know. What happens if it don't happen? Well, that's a good question too. But now, see, guys, here's something you got to keep in mind. Both Russians and Chinese are taking the future of warfare very seriously. They're putting weapons into the grade schools, low grade schools. They're getting kids weapon systems, munitions. They're spending more money in Russia right now on putting armaments, munitions and guns and things like that into the schools than they are in computers and science lab stuff, because they think this is what the kids need to be trained on. Well, the Chinese were ahead of Russia on this. Chinese have already been doing this. Meantime, our kids are learning which pronouns to use. What do you think about that? You think pronouns are more important? It's too bad that that couldn't be the most important thing in the world today. There you go, Bill, which were Robotine. How you say it? Robotine. Yeah, that's it. That's the city. I built a new Nuke rack today. There you go. Jason. I had to get an old bed in the garage. Yeah, I had a corncob pipe I made. It was so long one time I hung it in a Nuke rack. One that I had also made when I took shop back in like 8th grade. So, yes, sir. We used to take shop in school. We used to learn useful skills. What kids take shop these days? Huh? What kids are actually making stuff in school? Philippine-China maritime dispute, fuel risk of crisis between Washington and Beijing. So now we're flipping the theaters here, guys. It's not just Taiwan. The risk isn't just Taiwan, guys. The Philippines had this cord, undersea barrier that was trying to keep their fishing boats from going into the big fishing reef that their people like to use. It's inside the Philippine economic zone, according to all international treaties and standards, including the Law of the Sea Treaty, which China signed, but China don't agree with it, nor do they agree with the Hague ruling against them not to take economic zone territory from all these other countries, like 7 or 8 other countries in the South China Sea who have rightful claims to a lot of this area. China just went and said, it's all ours. It's all ours. None of that. You can't come in. If you try it, we're going to bully you. And that's what they're doing. And so this is getting heated there between the Philippines and China. And we've got a treaty with the Philippines. So it might be, it's quite likely that we could get into war with China over the Philippines before Taiwan. So it's just a good question of how this stuff may play out. But China, mind you, is putting troops on the borders as if they're getting ready to invade Taiwan. When's it going to happen? I still see articles on our side, from our side, saying, well, that'll happen in the year 2027, maybe. You know, I don't know. I'm thinking 2024 could be the year. Okay, that article got out of order here. We're still talking Russia, so I meant to put somewhere else. So we'll come back to that discussion in a little bit. Russia retreats in the Black. Oh yeah, this is interesting. This article came out because of the bombardment on Crimea. So Russia retreats in the Black Sea, open up Odessa ports for grain exports. Well, I think these guys were a little premature putting this article out, because right after that, boom, boom, Russia attacked Odessa big time with missiles and destroyed grain facilities and port facilities. So, you know, so much for these wags here, right? They're wrong. New York Sun blew it. They were absolutely wrong, because Russia, to show them, they went in and attacked the devil out of Odessa. And, you know, so, you know, to think that Russia's, you know, Black Sea operations are kaput was a little premature. You know, it's like Tom Sawyer going to his own funeral in The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, right? Or was that in the book Tom Sawyer? One of the two. But no, that was in the book Tom Sawyer. It wasn't The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Yeah, where he went to his own funeral. Like Mark Twain used to say, the rumors of my recent demise have been greatly exaggerated. So, all right. So, but Vladimir Zelensky claims, well, I got new intel that clearly identifies the weaknesses of Vladimir Putin's war machine. But they didn't keep Russia from hammering the heck out of the Odessa, you know, the Black Sea port city that I just mentioned. All right, guys, this may be all the reason to grow your own garden, get your own stuff, because the grain and food situation in the world is still in a tight situation. I get a lot of you telling me, Greg, I can't prep. I don't have any money for prepping. You know, buying seeds is prepping. Growing your own food is a form of prepping. It's the best form of prepping you could probably do. And seeds are the most portable way for future food you can have. It's even more portable than buying long-term food storage, but you need to practice it and learn how to do it. So you can come in and buy seeds, check out my True Leaf Market or my Eden Brothers site, and you can buy seeds. Because I get a comment all the time, you guys, Greg, I can't afford it. I can't afford any kind of prepping. But you can always just buy an extra can of beans every week, you know, 1 can of beans. How much is that? But better yet, buy seeds. So you can come in here and buy garden vegetable seeds. And you might want to go ahead and buy them now. No, it's not time to plant yet, but right now might be the best time to get them, because who knows if our world as we know it's still going to be here when it comes time to actually plant next time. So I would say get your seeds, and I would also urge you to go in and maybe get some earthworms so you can not have to go to the store and buy fertilizers and such, right? So True Leaf Market is a good source for that, as is Eden Brothers. From both sides, you can get non-GMO, non-GMO seeds that are heirloom, the kind of seeds that you can plant, harvest seeds from your plants and then replant them. That's the kind you're going to want, because if you're buying hybrid seeds, you're not going to get the same plant back the next year. You'll get probably something not as good. And our government is involved in a lot of wars around the world right now. There's a list here, some 15 places we're still involved, including, you know, you think we're out of Afghanistan, but we're still got our finger in things over there. Egypt, Iraq, you know, we got troops over there. Kenya. The thing is, war is supposed to be authorized by our Congress. But ever since Truman got us involved in the Korean War, he did that by citing UN, supporting UN forces or something, administrative action. Our presidents have found all kinds of ways to get us entangled in wars outside of a congressional declaration of war. Lebanon, Libya, Mali. This is all the places we got troops. Mauritius, Niger. Yeah, you tell me. Should the United States have troops and involvements in all these wars? Our founding fathers said we should stay out of the affairs of other countries. We shouldn't be involved. Nigeria, Somalia, Syria. Yeah, we got a lot of troops in Syria. Tunisia, and we were not invited there. Yemen. So what are we doing in Syria, for Pete's sake, guys? Fall garden is possible. You're right, X-Dragon. I'm trying to switch screens back and forth. It's a little bit of what you guys are saying. Fall garden is possible. In fact, it's a good time to plant. You can still plant some stuff. But check that out. Be a good thing to practice with. All right, so I'm coming back to the articles here. China's on the fast track to wage war against Taiwan, U.S. experts said. And they're still talking potentially 2027 in here. Look at that. Yeah, guys, it could come sooner. They do, if not earlier. They do throw that little qualifier in it, if not earlier. You tell me. If you think China might invade Taiwan before 2027, put in 1, the hammer of the earth. If you think that China would attack after 2027, put in a 2. If you think China would never attack Taiwan, vote a 3. If you think it's none of our business, type a 4. So what you guys think about that? I don't see any votes yet. I second global warming. There you go. I proudly promote global warming. Exactly. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Yeah, most of you think they'll hit it before. Lizzie says stay out. Scooby Snacks 1. Pre-Trump. So before Trump gets in office, you got to point Tiffany. Straight the Matrix says 4. Few days thinks it'll happen afterwards. Okay. Out. I'm going to try to sleep again. Well, good luck, Eric. I'll catch the rest of this tomorrow if you want to. Why does Gates want to bury trees? He wants a good soil when he sticks his head out of his luxury bunker. Well, that might be it. Peace, Greg and Mods and other chats. There you go. Greg, hey, Greg, how's you doing? It's been a while. Miss Vic's place, I'm doing okay. I'm just on here late because it takes a while to get all this stuff together, do a video like this. Leave plants in the ground so they run to seed next year. There you go, pre-Trump. All right, so let me go back to the articles here. All right. Let's see here. We'll go through these articles because we owe it to the people watching in the morning. Then we'll go through our chat. We'll talk chat stuff when we get down here. And I got to open this box from Brian Perendi. So Brian will probably watch this in the morning. All right, Philippines driver removes Beijing's floating barrier. That's what that article meant. I meant to put up with this one. I got it out of sequence. But one of the things I do is I put all these articles up and I try to put them in order, and sometimes these things get hard to move. There's tabs when it gets full. Our browser is clunky. Anyway, China warns Philippines not to stir up trouble over disputed roof. Don't be cutting this barrier, like this guy says, diarrhea cutting everybody, leave it alone. Yeah, China's always warning everybody to not do anything that they don't approve of, especially when they're being the bully. It's like, the bully taking the kid's lunch and says, if you protest, I'm going to beat the snot out of you. Give me your lunch and give me your lunch money and give me your pencil too. China has the capacity to build PLA combat ships at 200 times the rate the U.S. can per elite U.S. Navy intelligence. Now, that is very unsettling. China has the capacity to build combat ships at 200 times the rate the U.S. can. Actually, I think it's 236, 237 is the actual number. They were just rounding it there. Okay, this article don't tell you all that, but I've seen an article that actually claimed the actual number was higher. But, it's in the order of 200 times. And, China is now China's actually developing some of their own technology. This is something we started maybe a decade or two. No, we started some of this back in the late 90s, I think. Explosive engine test with drone propelled China to supersonic heights. What they're doing is a rotating detonation engine. We played around with that decades ago, but I guess we never produced one. But China has actually built one and put it in a drone. This is a technology that's supposed to give you high speed and high efficiency. Although there was rumors that the Aurora airplane might have an engine like this, rotating detonation engine. There's rumors that the Aurora can go faster than the SR-71 Blackbird. Anyway, the West has a massive Chinese spy problem. Well, yeah, they're all in our society everywhere you turn and look. So, no, and they're in our universities, and you don't know who's who, especially when you look at all the people that are coming across our border. What's crossing our border now? We just had 10,000 a day immigrants cross our border. I'm going to need to do a special video on immigration, guys. Chinese government is purposely flooding certain towns and neighborhoods in a pecking order of protection. One of the hallmarks of communism is supposed to be everybody's equal. We're all the same. It's like one big happy commune. Oh, yeah. But see, like in the book, was it not Animal Farm that said some are more equal than others? Yeah. Is that right? Isn't that the gist of it in a communist society, that some would be more equal than others? Well, guess what? China is, they're still having all these rains and floods, and it's, just messing up their crop potential, but they're diverting the floods to the cities of the less fortunate, mainly to keep it away from Beijing more than anything, because the superstitions, the old tradition in China was if Beijing got flooded, that meant the government was illegitimate and no longer favored by the powers that be, the God, the greater creator, or however they view it over there, and it's time to overthrow the government. China can't have that happen, so they are diverting the water as much as possible. But you do know that Beijing got hit really bad by floods. Typhoon Doksuri wreaked havoc on China. That was the one back in July. But apparently they're still having issues with this, and China is flooding the smaller cities. For all these young people that think communism is such a great thing, this is just one more example for why communism isn't all it's cracked up to be. Nowhere close. Communism is an utter failure. They have to control their society to keep communism going. They have to limit freedom of speech, because if people really knew what was happening, like the stuff that happened back in the, I don't know, YouTube might hit me for saying this, the square of Tiananmen. I'll say it backwards. Maybe that'll help. But you know, guys, you can't even mention that in China. That's totally buried. You talk about that, you're in great trouble. There we are, guys. What I tell you about Saudi Arabia plans a tougher IAEA checks on its nuclear activities. Well, why is that? Why is that? Saudi Arabia. So, because they're probably planning to build a bomb. They had already said that if Iran gets the bomb, they're going to get the bomb. And here, where UN chief cites madness of nuclear arms race as North Korea warns of war. North Korea has come out and said that there would be war on the Korean Peninsula, nuclear war. So you figure that. I am not going to read the article. I've mentioned it earlier. Now we're in for some economic hard times. If y'all haven't figured this out, things aren't getting any better, especially since countries aren't buying our treasury bonds, as they're dumping our dollars. And our treasury bonds are how we finance our debt, but other countries are not buying them. I heard recently it was a whole night that nobody bought treasury bonds, which was unprecedented. They went on sale and nobody was picking them up. So this is a bad omen for the United States. So there's no amount of when we can't export our inflation to other countries through having all our dollars spread around the world, that it will be more like the Weimar Republic. As we spend more, the inflation is going to kick up. So, and there's no amount of increasing interest rates by the Federal Reserve that's going to help it, because demand isn't the problem. The problem is the less demand for dollars. So that's what's going to cause some of the inflation. Jamie Dimon says Americans are on economic sugar high, and he's urging clients to batten down the hatches and prepare for rates to hit 7%. Yes, interest rates are going to go up again. And according to the Federal Reserve, they're now saying we're really going to keep them up for a while. Oh, what is this? And oil prices keep rising. We've already heard, the head of Exxon, I believe, had predicted this $100 a barrel. I'm hearing $120 or $140 a barrel, maybe, guys. Oil's going up. That is also going to be inflationary. BRICS countries dump $123 billion in U.S. trade. So not only not buying them, they're dumping what they got. Now, how's America going to finance its debt as this catches on? So these guys are all agreed, all these guys here, to take on the U.S. dollar. Saudi Arabia, Russia, India, African nations, China, a lot of countries here, big crowd there in the BRICS gathering. And that's why one of the reasons I urge y'all to consider gold and silver. Okay? And buy it in bullion, buy it in coins. See, you can buy bullion, bars, coins. And of course, my favorite is still the gold back, because unlike a gold bar, I can't take a gold bar into the store and buy a loaf of bread or a 12 pack of eggs with it, but I could be one of these. That's the 1 note, which means it's 1/1000th of a troy ounce of gold put into a nice little foldable bill that I can put in my wallet. I don't have to shave it off and worry about losing the shavings and all that stuff and weighing it, and that takes forever. No checkouts going on to deal with that. So yeah, go back and check that out. Defy the Grid is the place you can go. If you use the code GreenGregs, you get 1% off. GreenGregs, whether you're buying bullion, coins, or goldbacks. And there's a lot of different goldbacks that's come out. These are also something of a collector's piece. So I highly encourage you to think about it if you can. If you can't, hey, buy your beans and rice or buy your seeds first. That's more important. But if you're trying to store and save some value with your money, if you want a currency you could spend later, consider the goldback. Biden's electric car swindle. Energy Department admits EV transition is unsustainable. I mentioned this to you guys a couple of nights ago. Like an eyeball there with worms sticking out of it. I don't know, a bug eyeball. So analysts predict net zero transition will push most battery metals to shortage by 2030. That's just 7 years from now. That's when they're just trying to kick all this off. How in the world are they going to make all this happen like that, right? Johnny B, just Green Gregs. Yeah, that's the code. Green Gregs. Exactly, Johnny B. It'll be a good Christmas present. Yeah, it will. It will. I've had several of you guys. I know you guys are. I have mentioned many things on my channel, and even when I wasn't talking to goldbacks, you guys were just because I put the links in. You guys were buying goldbacks left and right. I never. There's months I never even mentioned it, and that would be the one thing you guys are going to first and foremost. So that's why I started mentioning it now. I didn't even have back then. I didn't even have my code set up right. I wasn't even getting a commission on it. I just listed it, and I only get 1% is the smallest commission I get. But you guys buy those so much more that even if it's a few pennies, it adds up. So it helps both of us when you buy the goldbacks from using the code Green Gregs. That's a discount code. It does get you 1% off. All right. Crime, violence is going up. Overdoses, crisis in New York City reaches historic highs. I saw another article. I couldn't find it in the last few minutes, but there's another article that blames the overdoses on what? What would they blame overdoses on? What crisis would they say is a cause of overdoses? I found an article that claimed the reason for this was global warming. Can you believe that? I'm serious. There was an article out that claimed that the reason for this was global warming. If you stump your toe, it's because of global warming. Yikes, guys. Can you believe it? But they tell you to eat the bugs, right? Eat the bugs. Well, guess what? Ancient man died of constipation. He'd been eating too many grasshoppers. Eat grasshoppers for months. They said his intestine blew up. His colon swelled up. He couldn't go. It was stopped up with the bugs and bug shells and bug skins, the chitin. Chitin got him. So, yeah. You think eating the bugs is a great idea? You tell me. I hear they're going to be grinding them up and putting them in food you buy at the grocery store. You won't even see it listed in the contents. They're going to put the bugs ground up in your food stuff. So I would say that's another reason you want to grow your own food so you know what you're getting, right? At least when you grow your own, you know what you got. So y'all need to think about that. Do you really want to eat the bugs? You tell me. Few persecuted Christians find refuge in U.S. Yeah, they're not letting them in. Everybody but, apparently. But Christians are one of the most oppressed and persecuted peoples in the world, worldwide. Countries are committing genocide against Christians in some areas, and they're having the hardest time getting into our country. So what do you think about that? Southern border will did hit, single highest immigrant day. Wow, so this just happened. Just happened. We had 11,000 migrants cross the border in 24 hours, apparently on the 24th of September. This was reported on the 25th of September. So it may have even gone up since then. I don't know, guys. How the Biden administration is using the climate crisis to make housing even more expensive. Yeah, they're putting all kinds of new requirements on new housing. We've already seen it on appliances. Your appliances are going to go up. Your housing's going to go up. At the same time, interest rates are up. So there's still an American dream right out from under our noses. All right, so that's proof I didn't get everything sorted quite right. Americans cannot afford the daily influx. Why? Because they're all coming here on welfare. This makes a good quote here. This quotes Milton Friedman. Decades ago, Nobel-winning prize economist Milton Friedman. He said, "It is obvious you can't have free immigration and a welfare state." Why? Because the supply of migrants will become infinite. They're all going to come across to get this stuff. So can you pay for infinite migrants out of your tax dollars while you're also funding the people over in Ukraine? Guys, this is what's happening. They're coming over here and just applying for our social programs left and right, and they're getting it. And they're getting more than that. A lot of them are getting paid for housing. A lot of money is going to take care of these people coming across. And in fact, the military, who you think might have been sent to the border to maybe cut down the rate of immigration, no, they're processing them in. They're helping them apply. The military guys that they're sending to the border are being set up to help people apply for what? welfare. Oh yeah, by the way, Milton Friedman was a great economist, a great writer. He wrote a book I read back in 1981. I'd encourage you to look up, called Freedom to Choose. And it talked in that book, you've heard me talking about how a dollar is a vote. I learned that from Milton Friedman in 1981. I read his book. A dollar is a vote. It's an honest vote. It's a ballot that they can't cheat on. When you spend your dollar for something, you're voting for more of it. So if you want more Klaus Schwab, vote for things that he approves of. If you want more of that system, you pay your money to the big guys. If you want to, who really needs your help is the small businesses. Go with the small business. That's how to spend your money. Whether it's a dollar, a goldback, or whatever economic unit you trade in, keep that in mind, guys. Support your local, support the local farmers, the local artisans. I've said that 1 billion times, and I've said that the dollar is a vote. Well, I learned that from Milton Friedman in 1981. Freedom to Choose, great book. I've even quoted in there something about, I pencil. You might have seen that in some videos about talking about how fragile our society really is, which is a good object lesson for preppers. I pencil, written by a guy named Reed, believe it or not. Go back and check my videos on that, or find Freedom to Choose. James Carville. Can you believe James Carville saying this? James Carville is a big Democratic promoter. He was the big spokes guy for the Clinton administration. He was a guy that used to claim, "Oh, them ain't no Republicans crossing that southern border," because he used to be all in favor of the immigration. That's why they set this thing up. But now James Carville, I mean, some of the Democrats have gone so far over in this direction. Even he's cracking on them. And he did it on Bill Maher's podcast. And he claimed that these people are most stupid, naive people you can imagine. Now, why would he say that? What do you think? Y'all agree with James Carville in this case? You probably wouldn't agree with him a lot of stuff. Democrats, he said he found woke left annoying, naive, and silly. Most people don't even know what they're talking about, Carville said. The identity left are silly. He says they're not evil, they're just goofy. Now, some people would take exception with that. Because, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Have crime. Let's get back to the crime story. I started getting on that, and I guess some articles disjoint on that. I can get things sorted out as well as I got some tabs open. After voting for Soros, District Attorney Oakland, after voting for Soros District Attorney, who is not into prosecuting, Oakland residents see 40 stolen cars a day. Well, thank you, George Soros. Thank you. Target to close 9 stores in major U.S. cities following surging numbers of theft and violent crimes. Look at San Francisco. The same thing's happening in San Francisco. It's like Biff World from Back to the Future 2. Wasn't it 2 or was it Back to the Future 3? Biff World, where Biff becomes like the head of the country, the president or something, and the whole country is in utter poverty. But the casinos are doing great. But aside from that, the whole country is in utter poverty. Well, that's kind of what it's like. So, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania tonight, this very hour, or at least earlier tonight, had riots going on all over the city. And what they were was smash and grabs in stores. Now, you think that all these stores are going to stay in business? What happens to the community when all these stores leave? Target, and I don't care for Target, but that's just an example. What happens when all these stores leave? Now, somebody was talking about this earlier, Bill Gates. It's complete nonsense that planting trees can solve climate change. Yeah, he wants to bury them. He wants to cut them down and just bury them. So he's anti-life, in my opinion. According to this article, you should do it anyway. Keep planting trees. Planting trees is always a good idea. I don't plant trees. That's what Bill Gates says. Yeah, he wants to cut them all down and bury them. Whole forest. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just nuts? I think it's nuts. Extra spell badly. Hey, you and me both. Are we in Biff World? I think we're getting close to it, X-Dragon. I really think we're heading that way. Oh, Jesse, you're leaving us tonight? Thanks for joining. All right, getting out, all he says. Well, thanks for joining us, Jesse. All right, Jesse took me to dinner one night. Yes, you're right, Jason. That's the problem. They don't like people. They don't even like life. They don't even like trees. You know, there used to be tree huggers. Now they want anything that's alive. They don't like it. John Carmack reckons we will see artificial general intelligence fully realized in just 7 years. Maybe less than 7 years. 2023 is almost over. He said by 2030. I think that's a tall order. He is the guy who wrote the game Doom, Wolfenstein, Quake, a bunch of other things, right? John Carmack. I know John Carmack. I know him personally. There he is right here. Bing. There's John Carmack. During the 2005 X Prize Cup in Las Cruces in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Guys, that's when I bought this hat. And I was at that same event myself. I thought I got this in Arizona. No, I got this hat when I went to the 2005 X Prize Cup. I was there. And John Carmack, 5 years earlier, almost funded, actually 6 years earlier, almost funded the High Altitude Research Program, the High Altitude Research Corporation, my X Prize, my Catch Prize entry. And you see that big old Mars globe back there behind him? That's a big balloon. We had a huge high wind that ripped in that place that evening and tore all these tents down and took that balloon and kicked it about 40 feet in the air. I think it actually injured somebody. It came back down on a crowd and then blew out. Yeah, we had a huge wind swept that place that night, that evening. But there's John Carmack. This is the guy that wrote Doom. I know him. And his wife, Anna Kane. He's got a lovely Asian wife who's an entrepreneur, real smart lady. I guess this is a more recent picture of him. John Carmack. Bang. All right. If Trump ever manages to win again, they're going to blame it on Putin once again. Can you believe it? Thank you, Hillary. Now for fun stuff, guys. You know, I like to end some of this stuff on the lighter side. Yeah, we're still going to open the package from Brian. We're going to I'll get with y'all in discussion here. Spiders. Spider venom causes what? Nah. Okay, guys. Don't throw spiders in your pants. If you throw brown recluse in your pants, you're probably going to have that rot off. Don't do it. All right, geez. I had to say it because I figured somebody would see that article and get a stupid idea. So I'm just telling you, don't get stupid ideas. You know, I do try to help you not get hurt. Oh, you got a big earthquake in Alaska. 5.1 in the Alaskan Peninsula. This Sandy Fuca fault here has always got some earthquakes. Is Chewy weather in the house? What do you think about these here, Chewy weather? Willow Creek, California. Yeah, this plate here is really active. We got some more in California. Tom's Place. Looks like there's two right here. Little Lake, 3.0. Down here in Vincent, how you say it? Guerrero? Probably not. They wouldn't pronounce the G with like a G. Peru and Colombia, right on the border almost. Ecuador, excuse me. Ecuador, yeah, that's the Ecuador here. Pardon me. And Puerto Rico is always rocking. No news on that. Got a good size one right here off the coast. There was one there the other day, 5.0, Izu Islands. Down here, this place has been rocking. 5.2. You know, recent articles have said that there's a whole continent right here buried under the ocean. Whole continent, which means it's the same as continental crust. Maybe at one time this was all above water. Maybe one day it will be again. You know, a lot of our continents have spent some time underwater. Just look at all the seashells we find. Oh, look at Poland. Oh, they're real close to Germany, 4.5. Interesting. Just scan out a little bit, see what we're missing. I think we covered all the big ones. Down here around Chile. Atacama, that's where they had 8.0 down there, you know, so many years ago. Big earthquake. So, yeah, Chile's a rocking. All right, let's do some weather. Ding, ding, ding. Things are cooling off. Let me do an update, make sure we got the latest on this. 82 in Phoenix. We'll start with Maine, where New Days is. She's the one busy adding posts, so we'll give her the first. It's 46 in Houghton. That's kind of cool. 46. Caribou, 43. All right, it's starting to feel like fall up there, I do believe. Boston, 52. All right, New York is 50. Erie, 59. Ohio, 62 up here and 62 down here. But Maysville's 59. Cleveland. Ew, I don't love Cleveland, I'll tell you that. Some of the hard, I thought I couldn't breathe driving through Cleveland. The air was so polluted once. I was having a tough time breathing, just driving down the highway on the way to a conference center. Woo! Driving right by the Ford engine plant. That was rough. Cookesville, Tennessee, 68. Fredericksburg, 59. Beltway Bandits, 57. Havelock, Wilmington, 66. I launched a rocket right here and got the Guinness Book right about here, right above Wilmington. Guinness Book of World Records, my Halo altitude liftoff space launch 1 rocket. Halo, and a rocket from a balloon and off we go. 71 in Gainesville. Miami, 80. Montgomery, 71. Hunts Patch, 68. It's kind of cool around here. Not like Maine, though. All right. Ardmore, 68. Some must be 68 too outside here. Jackson, Mississippi, 70. Gulfport, 77. New Orleans, 77. Planet Houston, 77. Wow, 77. A lot of these. Lake Charles, a lot of refineries in Lake Charles, 75. I'd spent a night there. I had a truck breakdown. On my way to Houston to visit my kids, grandkids in Houston, Planet Houston. Huntsville, Texas is 73. That's where the prisons are. San Antonio, 77. Dallas, Fort Worth, 73. Tulsa, Oklahoma. I spent a couple nights there recently, 68. Same temperature as Hunts Patch. Oklahoma City, 68. All right, Wichita, 60. We're going to go up here and check out Minnesota. We'll head that way and let's back out a little bit. You know, Ryan Prendy tells me I don't hit Minnesota enough. Park Rapids, 53. Yeah, some International Falls, 53 or 52. Where's either? We got or, where's either? St. Paul, 59. Rochester, 61. Fairmont, 61. So we got everything from 61 to 52 and 4. Where's either? Fargo. Ever see the movie Fargo? 55. Well, 55 all over North Dakota, except this corner here is 53. Jamestown. South Dakota, about the same temperature range, 55s, a few 53s. Nebraska, 52s. Cooler Nebraska than the Dakotas. Interesting. Montana, 50s. Oh, hell, up there to Alberta. Calgary, 59. Brook, 64. Well, I believe Maine's colder. Maine, I haven't seen 43 anywhere in Alberta. 59, way up here. Fox Lake. Zama, 57. Rainbow Lake, 57. All right, let's come back down a little bit. Almond, Casper, 52. Where's Gillette at? There it is. 62. Oh, he's saying Gillette. I stayed in Gillette one night. That was, I thought, the dustiest town I ever seen in my life. That was many moons ago. That's before they got into fracking business booming on them. Albuquerque, 79. Flagstaff, 55. Phoenix, 84. Big difference right there, right? Tucson, 84. Now, when I went to a farmer's market in Show Low a couple of weeks ago, and I met a fine couple there, and they were mostly sold out, and they had just a little bit of garlic. And I was asking how garlic raised around there, and they told me it raised really well. And then the woman looked at me and she says, "You're Green Greg's, right?" I said, "As a matter of fact, I am." And I just kind of grinned. And she turned to her husband and said, This is the smartest man on YouTube. Which I thought was a great compliment. And she said, "I kept wondering why you kept showing Snowflake when you did your lives." And well, there I was. Snowflake, 66. It's 2 degrees cooler than I am here. No, wait, no, I was Show Low 66. Pardon me. Snowflake is actually warmer tonight. It's 70. Holbrook, 73. Pardon me. St. John's is 75. A lot warmer over there in Apache County. This is Navajo County. That's Apache County. And I do have a post office box of Snowflake now. Flagstaff, 55. In fact, the first package that got sent to my post office box in Snowflake was sent to me by none other than Cheery Weather. He sent me some Death coffee. All right. Lost Wages, 75. Lost Angels, 71. We're going up to Alaska, then we'll go down under. San Fran, 62. San Jose, 75. Wow, 62 to 75 right there. That's a huge difference in a small space, all on the bay. Eureka, 59. Then we'll come up into Oregon. Eugene, 68. Bend, 61. In case Chewy Weather's with us tonight, I don't know if he's with us or not. Salem, 66. Astoria, 59. Seattle, 62. All right, I'm trying to get to Alaska now. You got anybody in British Columbia? We're down in the Panhandle of Alaska. Catch a can, 50. Catch it if you can, Sitka, 48. Juneau, the capital city of Alaska, 44. Look at all that snow. Oh, yeah, we got a lot of snow up here now. It's autumn. Cordova, 46. Valdez, 41. Anchorage, 41. Somewhere up there is below freezing. Look at all that snow. All right. North to Alaska. Go north. The Russia zone. Fairbanks, 39. Delta Junction is warmer than Fairbanks. Wow. It used to always be cooler. What's going on there? 43. I believe we're 43. Kotzebue, 35. Nome, 37. Alaska's warm. Barrow, 34. Dead Horse, 35. Man, it used to have snow be on the ground for nearly a month by now. Or really used to be. What's going on up there? Siberia's got some 28. One spot in Siberia there. Let's go down to check out our buddies down under. Get there faster if I scroll out right. There we are. Check the chat room and see what you guys are saying real quick. Anybody here from down under? We got Stubby Snacks in the house, or anybody else? 73 in North Florida. Hey, X-Dragon, are you from North Florida? Yeah. Turn away, Smith. You're just trying to, oh. All right, don't be starting trouble. All right, let's see here. We usually got some people from Australia in the house. Sydney, 64. Melbourne, 46. Hobart down in Tasmania, 43. 43 there. Come up to the equator, almost in down there, it's close to Antarctica. You come up here, you're almost at the equator. Weepaw, 73. Bamaga. It's almost like Alabama. Bamaga. Is that cross between Alabama and Bama and Georgia? Bamaga, 77. It's warmer than Alabama, at least my part. I'm 68 here. Of course, they're in the springtime. Springtime in Australia. Let's go to New Zealand. Well, we got some storms on the west coast of New Zealand. Dunedin, 61. Wanaka, I hope I'm saying it right, 50. Yeah, 53 out here on the island. New Plymouth, 57. 62. Napier, if I said that right. Wellington, Beef Wellington, 53. All right, let's go to Europe. Get a lot of people watching us. We used to get people from India and the Philippines. I haven't had anybody in the Philippines in a long time on this channel. I used to get a lot of watchers from the Philippines back when I did more worm and egg stuff. 70s, 60s, not bad. India's mostly in the 70s. Nice cooler down south, 68. Interesting. Tehran, 66. That's same temperature as Snowflake. No, Snowflake is 70. Pardon me, Snowflake's warmer. Well, let's see here. Kyiv is 57. Moscow is 50. Finland, Helsinki's 50. Oslo, Norway's 46. Got a little snow there. Let's go there and see if we find any freezing with that. It's all above freezing except inland. Here. Russia's got a lot of naval bases right here. This is the island they do the nuclear testing on right here. It's got some snow on it. There's snow in the ocean up there around the Arctic area. Iceland. Oh, got some cold in Iceland, 39. Well, we didn't get England. We got to go back to England. Inverness, Scotland, 50. Aberdeen, 52. Or so, 52. Hull, England, 55. Sunderland, 53. Norwich, 59. London is 57. Birmingham, 55. It's a lot warmer and cooler than Birmingham, Alabama. Limerick, Ireland. You may want to say Limerick, 52. Dublin, 53. Castlebar, 52. Well, there we go. That's Europe. Let's see. Let me go back and see what you guys are saying in the chat real quick. I'll stay in the chat. 50-foot sailboat. I hear you there, Jason. Yes, he did. Well, there's Scooby Snacks. How you doing? 83 Fahrenheit, 28 C here in Queensland. Okay, Queensland, Hatcher City. Yeah, you're colder than Russia. How about that? Matter of fact, you were kind of in par with Fort Greely, weren't you? Let me back up here. Like at 40, what was it, 43? Or 45? Well, dang, what's this? That ain't right. Houghton's 46. Let's go back over to Alaska. Sometimes when you move around, these get reset. I must have hit the button down here and advanced a day or something. Scrolling around. 46 in Houghton. And Delta Junction, 34. Yeah, Delta's good. Oh, the snow's starting up around here. Yeah, Fort really be right here. Okay, that's 32. Just dropped. And it's snowing. All right, it's getting cooler. I guess it's nighttime just hit. Wow, it's bouncing a little bit. Where's the snow? It just went away. That's odd. Anyway, let's go over here to space weather. Update. Bing. Significant chance of flares. Don't be surprised. It was a solar flare today. All right, there's your sunspots. Nothing look greatly scary there. Comet. Buffeted by the flood. Oh, I got some coffee, guys. Wow, that's pretty good aurora oval right there. There's the daylight heading toward new days. It's still maiden in the house. It's already daylight over in England. All right. Ooh. A lot of asteroid activity. That one's already passed. It didn't hit us. I told you about this a couple of days ago coming. And it passed between the Earth and Moon, but 9/10 of the way toward the Moon. Nothing else on here is coming between the Earth and the Moon. Not what's forecasted up until the 24th of November. Wow. The day before Turkey Day, I guess, or right around Turkey Day. What day is Turkey Day this year? It's pretty close. All right, guys. Hello. Yeah, I got this hat in 2005 at the X Prize Cup where John Carmack was at in that photograph. It's exactly where I was at. In Las Cruces, New Mexico. That's where this hat came from. I actually got it in Walmart there. It's been beat up a little bit since. I got two hats I got in those events. I think this is one I got in 2005. They hadn't won the year before. I got a similar hat from. All right, guys. So what we're going to do next is we're going to open this package from not John Carmack, from Brian Perendi, and then I'm going to read the chat here. Jesus, forgive this fool, for he does not know what he's saying. He thinks he's a smart aleck. Oh, who are we talking about? New York. My husband had a knee replacement a couple of months ago. He got it all the firewood cut before. Oh, that's good to know, Kathy. You cut the firewood before. You might have a cold winter otherwise. Yeah. Well, what Larry is saying is in some of the Jewish mysticism, they talk about a wife called Lilith. That's something that's been talked about. It's not in the text that we have. All right. All right, this package was, all right, Larry, what we got here? We got Chicken of the Sea from Brian Perendi. Except this don't feel heavy, it's Chicken of the Sea, so it must be like shirts or something. So Ryan's good at watching these videos later, so I'm sure he'll see this. Looky here. Check this out. Yeah, that's some Jewish mysticism. A lot of stuff in Jewish mysticism is not written in the Old Testament. So you won't find it in the Old Testament. What's this say? Caution, open by hand only. No knife. Okay. I'm a safety guy. I got to abide by that. I won't use my knife. No, ain't going to do it. Oh, yeah. This is one. Listen, I've carried a pocket knife since I was 5 years old. I got my first pocket knife when I was 5 years old. That's how we used to roll down here. Give a kid these days a pocket knife at 5, it'd probably cut his head off. All right. Or attack somebody. We didn't do that kind of nonsense. We dreamed of it. We used to carry nugs to school. Back then, when kids carried nugs to school, nobody did any school bang bangs, did they? That's another thing. How come if we can fund Ukrainians, we can't fund armed guards in the schools? Probably because we fund armed guards in the schools, you wouldn't have any school bang bangs, and then they wouldn't be able to come after our nugs. All righty. Boing, boing. Ta-da. Yeah, I did a video of my 3 favorite knives, and one of them was the Swiss Army Tinker knife. This is one of my favorite knives, the Swiss Army Tinker knife. The other 2 favorite knives is the K-bar, Marine Corps K-bar, and my bolo knife. And I got my bolo knife when I was 12. I also got my first nug when I was 12. I got my bolo knife first. Oh, this is all like double packaged. Several things. I thought these packages separate. There it is. Well, oh my God, all nicely wrapped. Nicely wrapped. Got a card. We'll have to read the card for you if anything else. Wow, all kind of stuff around. He actually ordered stuff. He ordered stuff, had it sent to him, and resent it to me. Wow, Brian. That's amazing. That's amazing. Aha, I thought there'd be a shirt in here. U.S. Army decal. I was in the U.S. Army. Here, I got me some funny money. Play cash. I'm rich, guys. I'm rich. Look at all this. You know what? This will probably be worth more than this in the not too distant future. The way things are going. So let's see what the shirt says. I want to see what the note says. All right. It's like Christmas in September. September 27th. We're 2 days past the 25th of September, right? Where's my Santa Claus hat? I'll have to put it on next time. I open one of these. Worm farm. Oh my God, look at that, guys. Worm farming 23, keeping worms in buckets. Wow, guys, isn't that pretty cool? Thanks, Brian. That's cool. That is cool. Oh my gosh. What did he actually bought stuff, had it sent to him, and sent it to me. That package cost him $13 to send to me, by the way. The postage. What did he buy? Hey, Brian. And his shirt. Whoops. They all be shirts. Let's see what this one says. Ah. Whoops. What is this thing? Houston, we have an ignition. Looks like some kind of blower. Kind of reminds me of when I used a shop heater to bend PEX pipes, make a solar hot water array. Yeah, I used the shop heater. Some people use a blow dryer to bend stuff and heat things up. I had a big shop heater sitting on my shoulder. Then you probably see it in some of my aquaponics greenhouse videos. That one in my aquaponics shop. I actually use that thing like a blow dryer on my shoulder. Shop heater on my shoulder makes me happy. But guess the ghost of John Denver is rolling over in his grave. Met John Denver once. At a space conference, no less. A maze. You know, I might have to do t-shirts one day myself. Wow, this is like a sweater. Whoa, what we got here? Oh, I might need this in snowflake. Stay warm. What's a hoodie? Goody goody, I got a hoodie. Oh, what's it say? I only like change if it's for composted. There you go. That's, hey, worms love banana peels. Hey, that's my color blue. See my eyes? Yeah. Boy, howdy. I might wear this to bed in snowflake. Keep me warm at night when I get out there in the wintertime. That's awesome. Thank you, Brian. What else we got here? Oh, my good friend Rex, a lot of times will open packages, people sends them in his live cast. So I learned this trick from Rex Bear. This is heavy too. Oh, something else to keep me warm. It ain't the space shuttle, it's a lawnmower. Oh wait, it's got something on the back. Let's see. That's sort of like a lawnmower repairman or something. It says trial fits us all. Trial. There's your dinner. Oh, what's this? Grass Rat's Garage. All right, Grass Rat's Garage. I guess there's 3 guys there. Well, that's funny. This is heavy. Wow. And it is also a hoodie. All right, guys. Oh, the lawnmower part's the back. This is the front of it. Nice. Thank you, Brian. Wow. I shouldn't freeze to death now. Well, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for the cold weather. Thanks, Brian. All right, guys, that's a super chats from Brian Printing. You never know what Brian's going to send. Brian sends all kind of things, often quite humorous. He usually sends something you get a laugh out of. I disowned the human race a long time ago, says Larry. Okay. Don't sing me to bad places. Oh. All right, XJ. Let's be cleaning here, guys. We're a family channel. I do believe in freedom of speech. So if somebody's got different opinions, they're free to express it, but other people are free to chat with you and try to convince you otherwise. Sometimes that's the value of the freedom of speech, is people can debate. You might win somebody over that way. So nice, super nice skills, well thought out by the giver. Oh yeah. Brian does a good job. Brian's a good guy. He usually comes in the chat room. I had a few people trying to ban him because he likes to kid and joke, and they didn't understand that that's cool. Brian's cool. He's got a sense of humor. Molly Collie. Well, I unbanded him real quick. Brian's a good friend of the channel. All righty, let's see here. Granny Miss, she also disowned the human race. Brenda Hines, how you doing, Brenda? Few days, Greg. I wanted to let you know that the info from your guest Paul Cottrell, concerning my ashwagandha K2D3 and LD3 was $349 now. I've included K2 in the mix. My LD is now $190 after 9 months. Well, you might remember it's actually me that said that in that video with Paul about using K2 and vitamin D3 together. I'm the one that actually played. It wasn't Paul that said that, it was yours truly. But I was in the video with Paul. Some cute shirts. You're right, Brendan. Those are cute shirts. I'm not evil. I'm a good person. My kids and grandkids love me. Well, there you go. Oh, so that's a channel, huh? Okay, Arnold. Haven't heard that. Oh, so that's three guys that got a channel. What are they? Small engine repair or something? Remember Click and Clack? It used to come on and talk about auto repair. Maybe it's kind of like that, huh? It used to be a radio channel, a radio show. All right, I'm gonna scroll back up the top of what I can see here. Now I've got on. I have to do the video and keep up the chatter. I can't watch the chat if I'm watching on this computer while I'm showing articles. So I'm coming in here and scrolling back up to catch what you guys said. See what I missed. And it won't go back to the very beginning. Johnny B. Do they still do discount? I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. I grow a Meyer lemon tree indoors. Nice. Fresh lemons every year. Lemons are great. Electric cars make China rich. You're right, Dale. Let's see, I'm gonna scroll down the chat here. Those little kids better get digging. Oh, bought silver rounds. Yeah, thank you, Johnny. Get worms. That's right, X-Dragon. All right. Good day, Greg. I'm just off for a few minutes before I go to work. Well, right, I'm glad you joined us. Another billion-dollar blunder brought to you by the fine, hard-working Americans by your beloved government. No kidding. Big right in Philly. Yeah, Jason. Big right in Philly. It was one big right or a lot of little rights. So it was just smash and grab. So it was just pure crime wave. That's what happens when you got no law enforcement and liberal woke folks that won't throw people in jail and punish folks. You know what that's going to do? It's going to kill the city because the businesses can't operate. You know, businesses operate at best like on a 5% margin typically. I mean, it's tough. You go in and smash and grab a bunch of stuff, that'll close businesses down. You can't handle it. That's a terrible thing to do. Terrible thing. These mine are in a tote basement, vacuum sealed. Peace, Brother Jason. I know 5 Ukrainian women who are working for a local grocery store. Okay. Now, a lot of them have left. You know, they've had to get out. Tough time over there. I feel for the people over there. I feel for the people anywhere. And look, these governments, they all pit us against each other. The people suffer as a result. Jason, you're on to something about the gates of Bill. Mine's giant ZO2 vacuum. Oh, good hat. You like the hat, huh? It's the first time I wore the hat on a video in Alabama, I think. But I've had this hat since 2005, which is almost 20 years. So 18 years. I've had this hat for 18 years. All these stories about current affairs, nothing compared to what God has in store. Well, you're right, Arnold. The whole point of showing this stuff is to get people thinking, to get ready, to get prepared, to show them where things are heading. Eat a Tide Pod and snuggle a spider. I think I'll pass on both of those, X-Dragon. Lord. All right, John, glad he was with us. Kathy, I wouldn't put anything past the Bushes or Clintons either. You know, they're really all buddy-buddy. I ain't going to bug on no spider. Nope. Good. Have you ever put out that info on the locust tree? Oh, locust tree. I missed that. All slaves to Satan. It was cold. Had my first frost this morning. Wow. A few days. Already frosted there. Frost on the pumpkin in Maine. People have got to stop running with the devil and walk with Jesus. I don't know. Milton Friedman, Free to Choose. There you go. Get the book, guys. It's a good book. You should read it. Give it to the kids to read. Even better yet. turn some kids around in their way of thinking, understand how economies actually work, you know. So James Carville won't have to talk about them so much. Oh, let's see. Let the world destroy themselves so we can sit over here in peace, rebuilding our nation. That's what we're going to have to do. Now, we hope we can win some people over on the way down, all right? SV, Thorocell, ingestion, or talking financial or physical activity. Oh, you're going to get colder. How cold is it going to get new days? Yeah, well, Satan was named Lucifer because he was the most beautiful angel of all when he was created, supposedly. But Lucifer now has a very important job of looking over troubled souls sent to him. So what he does, he was actually in part of the Bible like a prosecutor. Court of God. Yeah, Satan was created. No AC in Florida, and you're doing fine. Okay, so you are in Florida, X-Dragon. What part of Florida? You're in North Florida? I might wind up down in, good chance I'm going to be in Lake City with a job there. My son is moving more than me. Granny, how are you doing right now? Kathy Pittman ain't the truth. Let's see, Stray Cat. Washington, okay. Tasmania, she was in Tasmania. Lizzie may be dizzy. Haven't seen you in a while, Lizzie. Family, country, prays together, stays together. There you go, ex New York. Larry, I don't know if he'd want the job to be president of the United States. You're in the right mind, we'll want to be president. Jeez. Tiffany says, I'd like to be dictator for 2 years in a clean house and we'll get back the way it was intended. Okay, Tiffany. I'm way back in the chat. This is earlier on. Historical, not mechanical. Chew it open. You want me to chew that box open? I always had a pocket knife in my pocket as a kiddo. There you go, Granny. A Gerber Covert Auto, awesome knife, huh? Hawkbill. I used to have a Hawkbill. There was those Barlow knives. Barlow knives were Hawk-billed. I had one of them when I was a kid. They were red D's. Scroll down. SMG Phil, 66 degree here in Alabama, nice morning. All right, where you at? Ecto Life Lab. Huh. I do days. Going hunting today. There you go, ex New York prepper. Hmm. Finally catching live. Hey, Nyman's wife, there you are. Yeah. Might be in your neighborhood in the not too distant future. Ecto Life. Ecto's like Ghost Life Lab. What are we talking? Ecto Life. What is Ecto Life? Better late than never. You see Shelley. Hey, done see Shelley. Greg, you and I are the same age. 1960 was a good year. Amen to that. Very good year. Cheers to you. Cup of coffee finished. All right. All right, guys. That's good, Brenda. Moose season. Wow. You have to get stamps to hunt a moose. It's like a lottery. Can anybody hunt a moose in Maine? What's the deal for moose hunting? Get a moose and you'll eat for the winter. Ecto Life is basically an artificial womb center. Oh, wow. That's scary. That's scary. Yeah, they won't need women anymore if we got artificial wombs. Remember when the GB Green Bay Packers went to artificial turf? They had a grass giveaway day and gave the field away 1 square foot. Wow. Then they went back to natural grass. Yeah, I think probably it hurt when you went down on that artificial turf. I remember all of them were going to artificial turf for a while. We have a lottery. Okay. Figures. How many moose tickets are given out? Oh, it was only on the field of Green Bay Press. A lot of them went AstroTurf. That was the name. AstroTurf got real popular there for a while. And I think they all went back to real grass. They had problems at AstroTurf. All right, guys. It's already 3:17. I think we're going to skip the prayers tonight, unless y'all really want it, because it's getting late. Now we'll do it anyway. Let's do prayers. Let's do it real quick because we have some people really need help. Everybody, if you don't have faith, that's fine. This is not a religious channel. I'm not here to tell anybody what kind of faith to have or anything like that. One guy put grass in his backyard and the grass took off. The Packers gave him lifelong tickets for his grass. Cool. Yeah, we're going to do a quick prayer session because Granny is real big need of help. New Days has had her surgeries, designer babies. That's all scary. She's got 132 in the house. Only got 126 thumbs up. Come on, guys, help me out with thumbs up. All right, let's pray for New Days. Let's pray for Granny Lana. Let's pray for her granddaughter Kaylee, for Randy Bly, the Blue Bottle Bunny Farm. We'll pray for for Judy Dowell. Who else? Country needs lots of prayers. Yeah. Steve Irwin, how you doing, Steve? Traveler Larry Smith today. The Green Bay Packers have that grass from the guy's backyard. That's amazing. All right. Like I said, I'm not a religious channel. I'm not here to tell you how to pray. And if you don't believe in prayer, you can. A moment of silence is golden. 4,106 permits this year. That's pretty good. So people can get 4,106 permits. How many hunters are there? So you got a pretty good chance of getting one if you join the lottery then, huh? Do you know what percentage of people win in that lottery? Do they actually get a moose ticket? All righty. Let me pray for country and world peace. How are there any mooses left? Says Tim. Well, not everybody that gets a moose ticket is going to get a moose, but one. That's one thing you got to bear in mind. Just because you get a moose ticket don't mean you get a moose. All right, so all right, if y'all think somebody else to pray for it, we'll do it. We're just going to take a couple minutes to say a quick prayer here. It is getting really late. All right, I'm going to tell you how to pray. Pray according to your own faith. And if you don't have faith in prayer, a moment of silence is golden. Amen. 6 bulls. 6 bulls hiding in the apple grove. Bull mooses? Wow. Pray for the mooses. They were right about heaven. Okay. All righty, folks. Tell me what state you're from. Everybody roll. Tell us what state you're with, and we're going to go. Stay away from mooses that have been eating rotten apples. Greg, at least, Greg, last year, 62% of hunters got a moose. Okay. What percentage of people that apply for the lottery get a moose ticket, stamp, or whatever it is they use? If you apply for the lottery to hunt a moose, what's your percentage chance of getting one? Frog Hop, Texas. That's a great name, Lizzie. Frog Hop, Texas. That was making a moose drunk. That's funny. Sweet moose, a lot of meat. Yeah. California, Tiffany. All right. Trenton, Florida. Nightman's wife. Montana. S. Young. All right. Washington. All right, Brenda Hines. I'm Tony, Alabama here. Hey, Wise Al. Just woke up. Yeah, we're almost done. We're about to call it tonight here. How long have we been on air? 107 minutes, not quite 2 hours. Nevada. Hey, Jason. Most of Nevada belongs to the federal government. So maybe Reno and Lost Wages and all the area around that, right? For Northern Minnesota, Space Girl. All right, you're pretty close to Brian Perendi. Dale's from Minnesota. Brenda Turner, originally California, Oklahoma. SGM Phil, Alabama. Southwest Indiana. Oh, 72,000 people applied. Okay. So, well, 4,000 tickets. Still got a pretty good shot. Alaska's a good place for moose, no kidding. Yeah, we're about done here. Tiffany, when I was driving in Finland, there were moose all over. They were so huge if you got hit with one, but your family gets the moose. I think in Alaska, if you hit a moose, it went to the Indian tribes. You didn't get it because they want people hunting moose with cars. But yeah, you can total a car hitting a moose. North Carolina, if you're in moose country and you're driving and the moose comes up and stands on the side of the road, look at it, and you stop. Stop your car completely. Because once you stop that car completely, the moose will walk on across. But if you think you can slow down, that moose will wait till it's right in front of you, and he'll step out in front of you, he or she. They'll walk out in front of your car, no matter what speed you're going. They'll wait till you're right in front of them and then walk out in front of you. So just stop, come to complete stop, and let that moose cross. I found out from an old timer that where I am was called belly drag back when the horses were buried to their bellies in the mud. Now they call it frog hop, huh? That's funny, Lizzie. Another planet. All right, Larry. All right, guys, let's call it a night. It's late. I got to go to bed. I got to get up. I got to go to work in a few hours. Got a big day tomorrow, big meeting early in the morning. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, mods, for all that you do. Mooses and motorcycles don't mix well. Oh, no. Oh, that's the first sergeant sign. SMG. Oh, no, Sergeant Major. That must be a star, Oakley. What is that in the middle there? I thought it was a star at first. Sergeant Major. Okay, I got it. I got a Sergeant Major in the house. Sergeant Major Phil. Very good. All righty, folks. Bullwinkle rode a motorcycle. I believe he did. All right, Jason. Thanks for calling for thumbs up. Yeah, Sergeant Major. I just seeing that sign there. Okay, very good. Sergeant Major Phil. Yeah, I've had a command sergeant major on my channel. Mike Maybe. He's doing a lot to try to secure our power grid. Thanks, Rev, for having uplifted playtime. There you go. Whoa says that's a Marine Corps thing. All right. I believe there is a green Greg on many planets. It may be. Loud. Well, I believe in the multiverse, guys. That's a whole nother story. All right, guys. Again, thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, mods. Thank you all for watching. Just remember, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel for what may be coming at us. And always remember, the biggest problem in the world today is hatred. And that's how the evil gets to you, is they get you to hating, and it gets inside of you that are drugs. So just remember, the best way to dispel hatred is the same as the way the light dispels dark, love dispels hate. Go out and shine your love light in the world. And with that, I'm going to say,